Hello everyone, welcome to eVivekam. Over a period of time, we researched on UPSC mains pattern questions and tried to recreate probable mains questions which can resolve aspirants' struggle and uncertainty in mains preparation. Here's a list of questions which we should focus with respect to GS paper 2. First question is hate speech versus freedom of speech under Article 19 and how judiciary helped in balancing both of them. Next, how Indian constitution deals with the citizenship in light of recent issues like refugees and stateless persons. Cooperative federalism and how that concept is changing with respect to financial allocations and center-state relations. How is S.R. Bommai judgment helped in strengthening the federalism and how does it apply to recent events happening? Does fast-track courts give timely justice for vulnerable sections? How effective they are and what are the challenges they are facing? By focusing on overcrowding, prisoner rights and judicial accountability, explain the state of prison reforms in India. To reduce pendency and enhance judicial efficiency, what are the judicial reforms taken? We have to analyze it critically. Article 142 says, complete justice. What is the importance and what is the scope of it? How it is used in many landmark judgments. To promote alternative dispute resolution, we have brought Mediation Act 2023. What are the provisions of it and examine them? Does anti-defection law helps in curbing the political defections? Analyze it in critical tone. And do we need any further amendments? Challenges in electoral funding and what are the reforms needed to ensure fair elections and free elections? How Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 balances both individual privacy and national security of India. How administrative reforms ensures good governance at all levels of Indian bureaucracy. One nation, one language policy and its conflict with India's linguistic diversity as well as federal structure. Compare and contrast impeachment process of Indian President and USA President. And also we need to highlight the differences in procedures and practice involved in the presidents of India and USA. Bail is the rule, jail is the exception. Supreme Court has told it many times. How far it is relevant to money laundering and how does it impact personal liberty as well as national security? India's economic data credibility is in question because of the dissolution of Standing Committee on Economic Statistics. So, how far such committees make sure our economic data is reliable? What is the work of quasi-judicial bodies? Are they really effective in ensuring justice and accountability? Many controversies are happening around the position of governor. So, critically examine the role and process of appointing the governor. Interstate Water Disputes Act. How far it helped in dissolving the water sharing conflicts between the states. Critically analyze it with the help of recent examples. In India's decentralization, 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments are the landmark steps. So what are the challenges they faced in the implementation? Effectiveness of checks and balances between executive, legislative and judiciary branches in Indian polity. How disaster diplomacy has helped in developing our international relations. How India has used disaster relief efforts to increase its diplomatic standing among other countries. As we all know, Indian diaspora is a big asset for India's economic diplomacy as well as strategic diplomacy. We have to discuss it with reference to recent developments. How ports helped us in influencing global trade as well as regional geopolitics. With respect to India's energy security policies, we have to explain how crude oil is not just a commodity, it is also a strategic tool in the growing geopolitics of India. As we took a lead in G20, how India's leadership played an important role with respect to global economic governance. As a counter to China's Belt and Road Initiative, India has brought India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. So what are the geopolitical implications of this corridor? The expansion of BRICS shows a shift in global power dynamics. So, what is the implication of this BRICS expansion for India's foreign policy? In Indo-Pacific region, Quad was emerging as a key strategic grouping. So here, we have to examine its potential as a trade bloc under Indo-Pacific Economic Framework. What is the present status of India-Nepal relations and how the domestic factors in Nepal influence its bilateral ties with India? As India and Saudi Arabia relations are evolving, we have to discuss how does it helps in context of energy security and regional stability. What is the strategic significance of Australia-UK-US alliance in Indo-Pacific area? How will it affect the India's security interest? Is non-aligned movement still relevant for India? We have to discuss it in context of current geopolitics. Economically disadvantaged people have less healthcare accessibility. How does Ayushman Bharat scheme help in this? How it evolved since its inception in 2018? Next question. How PM Vishwakarma Yojana scheme is promoting traditional crafts and how it is supporting artisans in India? Has government is successful in ensuring the sustainable development of these communities with the help of PM Vishwakarma Yojana? Recently, some amendments were happened to Juvenile Justice Act. Does these amendments have any implications in the treatment of juvenile offenders? Does these reflect the changes in societal attitude towards youth crime? Article 311 provides the protection to civil servants from arbitrary dismissal. We have to analyze it critically whether they are ensuring administrative efficiency while safeguarding their rights. Recently, Supreme Court recognized right against effects of climate change as a part of Article 21. What implications does this judgment have on environmental governance and climate justice in India? What are the key provisions of Enemy Property Act? In context of recent developments, we have to analyze it critically whether it is safeguarding national interest while balancing property rights. What is the difference between pressure groups and political parties in a democratic setup, and what are the limitations of the both? With this, we have completed discussing around 41 probable questions for GS2. Thank you.